It's a warm but cloudy day that greets us for the fourth round of the Blancpain GT World Challenge Asia. 12 months ago it was super hot, but today we cannot see the peak of Mount Fuji, that most majestic of backdrops, this most brilliant of circuits. We saw it when we came into the circuit this morning at about 7 o'clock. The top of the cone was there for all to see, but right now it is somewhat concealed. You cannot see it. There is where it's supposed to be. This morning we saw it. There it was at 7 o'clock this morning. And there is Steve Dawson down on the grid to get words with the tie. So let's go down and hear the thoughts of the championship leader.
Bruce, thank you. Those drummers are wonderful, making tremendous atmosphere here on the grid. Another person who's making wonderful atmosphere is our pole sitter, Tanat Satyuntirikul. Tanat, 6/10 ahead of everybody behind you. It looks like the car is showing tremendous pace.
Yes, the car for me feels really, really good. For me in the quali compared to yesterday in the free practice. And I will try to make the most out of it where I will start from pole and we see what happens.
Any worries about the 5-second penalty?
Nah, not really.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
There is a confident driver indeed, and with a record from 6 races so far this year of 2 wins, a second, a third, okay, an 8th and 11th. He is one of the few people who feels he can actually dismiss the 5-second success penalty. That's what he picked up for finishing third with his teammate Philippe Hamprecht in the second of the races at Suzuka. Really clean start, brilliant getaway by Alex Au, trying to get that white Lamborghini up a place or two, but from pole position being challenged. Well, the Ferrari had a little look, but Marcus Seefried's tucking in behind. He's going to have to go the long way around Roloff Bruins if he wants to lead, but up. Oh, in too deep to the corner. Satyunthirikul's made a mistake, and suddenly Roloff Bruins into the lead of the race. Alex Au, promising start, but he went too deep. I knew some cars were going to do so. Roloff Bruins into the lead of the race. Poleman Satyunthirikul back and up from 7th. A brilliant start from Wyron Tan. Up into 4th, off the circuit at turn 3. Lots of argy-bargy, but the first two are managing to get away. Still can't see Mount Fuji. We'll come to that later. Great interviews down on the grid by Steve Dawson. Really building up the pressure and the feeling before the race. Will it rain for those drivers starting further down the order? We will see, but very good approach to turn 1 by Roloff Bruins. He looked so he tucked in behind Satyunthirikul, but the Porsche driver went in too deep, went off the circuit, rejoined, and by the time he did so, cutting up into the inside line, Bruins took the lead. Behind as the Ferrari holds down 3rd place. Marcus Seefried, such an experienced international GT racer, really enjoying his time here at Fuji Speedway. But the fast two, the 2 cars that were on the front row, albeit in reverse order. Bruins in the lead of the race. Tanat Satyunthirikul doing his best to hang on, and in fact trying to stay on was the race leading Roloff Bruins. Steve, great interviews down on the grid. Really got the atmosphere down there, those drums going. It must have really built up there.
It's super down there. Let me just report that there are spots and speckles of rain. I don't anticipate that it's really going to get much worse than that. So I think some of the torrential rain, perhaps, that some of the mid-runners are hoping for probably won't happen. But yeah, some rain.
A broken cloud up above the circuit, but what we saw, a far better entry to the start-finish straight from the pole starter, and Satyunthirikul having a little look at Bruins. He got the toe. Some place changes further back to the Wyan Chen, who's trying to regain position, having started 4th and got muscled out at turn 3 on the opening lap. But there was a gap of best part of 0.6 of a second between the 2 front row starters, but the slower driver in qualifying, Bruins, is in front. He had some faster laps, but don't forget he, like many drivers, went off the circuit several times beyond the white lines, and this could be a feature in this race. But at the end of the opening lap, 0.322 of a second. It's come down by 100th around the middle stage of this lap.
Yeah, you can see it's going to be a good tussle. They're nice and close, these two. The one behind always looking for the slingshot from the one in front. That's how it could be for some time here.
Yes, I think the qualifying advantage for Satyunthirikul in the Absolute Racing Porsche is such he's just got to find his moment. He's got the speed in the car, he's got the speed himself. The tyre is absolutely flying this year, leading the championship with his teammate Philippe Hamprecht, but Roloff Bruins has got better and better over the last 12 months in particular. Racing experience dates back to his time racing in Europe long ago, but this season he's really matured with a Solar Indigo Racing Mercedes, because he's not flustered. There used to be moments when his armour would crack in recent years, but now he's capable of running right on the pace. Oh dear, Jeffrey Lee's had a spin along with the Anstone Racing Mercedes, so 2 cars that need to pick their way up the order. You put him off by interviewing him down on the grid.
My apologies.
Yeah, he's going to be very cross. He'll send you the bill for that. But Anyhow, the fact we've had one bit of contact around the first 2 laps is remarkable, with 31 cars. Just repeat that, that's the biggest field of the year. But right now, first and second, 0.322 of a second, come down to 0.279 in the slipstream. Not quite close enough to make a move, but he's going to try anyhow. Just do anything he can to unsettle Bruins. In behind, Marco Seefried is running at a marginally slower pace. He lost a quarter of a second. It really is all eyes on this lead battle. As you can see, it swings around we're dealing in the thousandths of a second. But the big question at this point is, what are they doing to their tyres? Because they're both clearly really on it.
The other aspect to consider is, if we're talking about thousandths of a second, and that's not easy to say, is it? There'll be a 5-second penalty. A bit of steam there, a bit of smoke.
Well, that's the front bodywork rubbing, oh dear, front left corner of number 17. So you'd actually feel perhaps that was the assault weapon that hit the side of Jeffrey Lee's Mercedes, because that would indicate how they came together down at turn 4. And into the pits comes car number 90. That Porsche obviously planned to be out on the track a little bit longer, but well, you can see there's been rear contact. Someone's clipped his wing. Actually, it looks as though the panel has simply come loose. Was the front bodywork? No, yeah, the front bodywork looks a little loose too. So maybe for Lee Chow in 910. It just looks like the lid has come up at the rear. Anyhow, so there's been contact around about sort of 15th, 16th position. I tried that one. Don't do that at home. For 918, what a nightmare for Fuji Cornitra Fuvasak. Small gap. Oh dear, suddenly it's all going terribly wrong. Shards of damage on the track. The McLaren will gain a couple of positions. What is going on down in the middle order? In fact, he was higher up, 8th at the start of that. Fuji Cornitra Fuvasak. Was that due to... There's got to be contact that's forced that up.
He's got vision, I suppose, just under that bonnet. He can see what he's doing, otherwise he wouldn't be driving so quickly.
Yeah, he's got a phenomenal memory, but further contact, well, I think the bonnet came back, whether from contact or not, but then when he spun, half spun, that's when the front wing is coming up. So the pit window isn't open yet, but those coming in are losing an awful lot of time. Cars 11 and 199 under investigation. Incident at T10 during the formation lap. Well, T10 is the point at which we saw 199 having had a spin, and Kyo Chang is continuing on his way.
At least that car's getting a bit of a cooling from the engine.
Well, don't forget, this is a car that's very well placed in the championship, so it's really unfortunate for Fuvasak. Came here to Fuji Speedway 3rd in the championship. Okay, damage at the front. They can put the bonnet back down, but not quite into the shape that it normally would be applied, because surely that front bodywork is twisted. So really unfortunate for the Panther AAS Motorsport crew. They've had a really strong season, and don't forget they took a win in the second of the 2 races at Thailand. That's why they're so well placed. Up front though, Roloff Bruin still in front, but the gap's come down at the start of that point, 117 of a second.
I got interrupted because we had that little incident earlier on, but the 5-second penalty will be given to the Absolute Racing team. So Tanat Sathyanthirikul will suffer a 5-second delay when they make that changeover, and Philip Hamprecht steps into the car. So as we speak about tenths and even thousandths of a second between the top 2,
drive
we better
through
consider
penalty collision at turn 10. Car 1-1 drive through penalty causing a collision at turn 10.
Okay, that answers some questions, because as I saw the cars coming around the final corner to start the race, I thought I spotted bodywork damage at the front end of the GTO Racing. It's the blue Mercedes. YN Chen last time around still in 5th, but catching up with the car in front, gained half a second. Useful laps. Bit of debris being collected by the field there. The McLaren hit it first. In fact, the McLaren was the first car to get down among that debris with the collision from the 918 Porsche. Had its bonnet up. Couldn't see where it was going. Sort of keystone cops in the early stage, but not for Roloff Bruins. He was wise at the first corner with Tanat Sathyanthirikul. Started from pole. He was ahead going to the corner, but just didn't get the braking done. And it's the Bruins with the calm head. He's now 1.1 seconds clear. He's just set his fastest lap of the race, while the pace of Sathyanthirikul is dropping away, and Marco Seefried in the Ferrari is starting to catch up. So it's Bruins from Sathyanthirikul, Mercedes from Porsche, the Ferrari in next, and then an Audi, 2 Audis in fact, Tan and Chen, 4th and 5th. There goes our race leader. How comes the last lap? Slightly slower than the previous one, but another 1/10 of a second gain. How amusing. 88 and 17 are together on the track. They're behind the car guy racing Ferrari. This is a team that has its base just outside the circuit boundary. Started down at the tail of the class, but
19th currently.
19th, those in behind quicker, but they're on its tail. They've got to find a way by. Jeffrey Lee taking a bit of a wide line. And for the second time in the race, this is not going to look good with the stewards. The 17 Mercedes has clonked the 88 car into a spin, and you really have to feel Jeffrey Lee, Alessio Picariello and others. Well, in fact, that's another garage, that's Graf Bamboo garage, looking at the screens and just shaking their heads, but yellow flag at turn 15. Well, we can see why. That's the penultimate corner on the track. There's debris on the circuit for one of the, that was the 199 car that was spun on its parade lap, is now having to go on the grass in avoidance of the spun Andstone Racing car. So for Jouvai, there's red dots on the flanks of his Andstone Racing Mercedes, and clearly a bit of a red mist inside his helmet. Let's take a look. He's dived up the inside. There is an inside, but there is a thing called physics. And there's,
Car 1-7, drive-through penalty, causing a collision, turn 10.
Right now, there are first four, all in the lead shot. 3.5 seconds cover them. The fifth place Audi will be at the back of that pack any moment soon as well, because, okay, they've come up to number 11. That, of course, served a drive-through penalty. Who is leading in GT4? I'll tell you what, it's not a big surprise. It's Takayuki Kinoshita in the lead BMW from BMW Team Studi. He's got a decent advantage over Jean-Marc Merlin, who all weekend has been clearly the driver most likely to take the baton to him in that Craft Bamboo Racing Mercedes.
It's around 6.5 seconds, the gap between the two of them, and there is another driver in between them, so Kinoshita looks fairly safe for now.
In the AM class, it's Andrew McPherson leading the way, 14th overall. He's nearly 5 seconds clear, and the car chasing is number 60, and it's Kei Nakanishi, LM Corsa Porsche. That was given a bit of a knock off the circuit at Suzuka, having a better run this time around.
Looks mean, doesn't it, with those headlight designs there?
Yes, a lovely little tweak. I've got Nashers. Here's the second car in class. LM Corsa joined the championship at Suzuka. Good run here. In fact, a very good run. The gap was really tumbled down in the last lap. It went from 5 and a bit seconds to 2 seconds. So drive-through penalty, that means drive-through, don't drive and stop. I think there's general confusion going on at Andstone Racing. Now they go.
Maybe just wanted a chat.
We have a change for the lead. Suddenly Tanart Sati and Thirikul is overtaken while we're looking in the pit lane. Oh, typical, isn't it? It's just bad luck. So our first three are even closer, but we have a change in order. Roloff Bruins, maybe he took too much out of his tyres, maybe a GT4 runner was in his way, but the pole man still probably brewing that over-ambitious entrance into turn 1 on the opening lap. Now in the lead of the race, and suddenly Roloff Bruins is being challenged by a different car. And it's not protecting the lead, it's not defending the lead, it is Marco Seefried in the Ferrari getting close on the tail of Roloff Bruins. So the first of the pit stoppers going back out into the circuit. Christina Nielsen being a bit frustrated by the pace of the Asavahame Lamborghini, but there's a maximum pace in the pit lane. 9:12. Most brilliant run for Wanbo, but let's see what it can do when it goes back out. This is the second of the two Absolute Racing Porsches, and now be in the hands of Leo Yihong. Normally Wanbo is the better of that duo in terms of pace, but it does vary from circuit to circuit. Ever brighter conditions out on track. Right, the second of the runners enjoying a run in the Success Racing Lamborghini, started by Tomotsu Kondo. Now it's Motoharu Sato out in number 390. Car 27, the pit stop has been done. The pit window's still open for another 4 minutes, and we'll see where that slots in. What's going on? Is that Happiness down in the pit lane? That's Sato around the car. So he's suffering a little bit there, but shows how much effort he put in. And don't forget, he didn't just hunt, he did the passing manoeuvre as well. Yeah, it's good. Okay. Yet more debris on the start-finish straight, not in a position where any marshal can recover it. And the only problem is, if that's been there for a while, is that the new drivers don't know about it, and those who are still to make their pit stops, they're aware and they duck out of the way. So 9:11 back out. Those 5 extra seconds would have cost it track position. It's come out behind number 12, and that's the car now in the hands of Martin Rump. Let's see what Philip Hamprak can do. Seemingly coming now, finally in the pits for the right time. First planned visit after 3 other ones. Now here is the race leader, Manuel Metzger, again, just as other cars are coming out of the pits. That was lucky for him, because it means the second place car of Yuya Sakamoto, the Hub Auto Corsa, trying to take a longer line into the first turn, has now got past the X-Works Audi, and the driver in behind giving chase is Martin Rump. He's just 7/10 of a second down on the second place Ferrari. Then Philippe Pampret is 4 seconds further back in the 911 Porsche. Here's our Pro Am class leader, ARN Racing. Very well indeed. Yuta Kamimura. A huge number of Japanese racers enjoying their home event, one of their 2 home events. 2 weeks ago was Suzuka, now Fuji Speedway. Next time out will be in Korea. We go to the track that was built specifically to hold the Korean Grand Prix. It's Yongan. Would hardly be more different from a circuit built on the side of a volcano. Plenty of gradient change, which is what I always love in a race circuit. And Fuji, as you can see, really wide in parts. It does allow drivers to at least think they've got a shot at overtaking. Mora has just, as we've watched him, put in the fastest middle sector of anybody, so that ARN Racing Porsche in a very, very sweet spot of its performance curve right now. I think this could entertain us the next few laps. Jazeman Jafar in 888, dukes it out with 99, Daryl O'Young. You can see in that battle how they take totally different lines. Jasmine's experimenting one way, then the other, but O'Young is in front now. Will he stay? Oh, a big swerve dive around the outside. There's not going to be space, or is there? In towards the chicane. Late in, wide out, early in, tight out. But I'd say that settled at 3 for one, 3 for the other. Coming right down our lead battle, Mexico and Rumble seem very close together. The Mercedes still ahead of the Audi. Yuya Sakamoto hanging on, is 1.5 seconds further back. A little bit of traffic could close right in all over again. It must be said, this Indigo Racing Mercedes has been right at the front of almost every race, as has the number 12 Audi. The number 12 Audi seems to be a magnet for incidents and problems. And of course, pushing all of them, just showing them what could have been if they hadn't lost a lap with the 2 spins. Coming up the order, how high is he now? Picariello in the 88 Craft Bamboo car up to 16th place. His next target is way up the track, 15 seconds up the track from him. Could still keep going. Got to get into the top 10 to pick up a point. That is his only target at this point in the race. But under quarter of an hour to go, you say that's quite a steep one. Joe Chi on his championship debut, he's picked up the car that was given a clonk on the formation lap. And if you take a look, a rear shot, still dragging some bodywork. Possibly a long-term injury. No, yeah, it's a little bit flapping. I think that's all right. It's not near the wheel arch, and the fact the contact was well, even before the start of the race, and it's still there now with only 12 minutes remaining. Hopefully that should stay. Ben Porter, however, is leading the AM class ahead of Takeshi Kimura. And that gap was down to 2 and a bit seconds, and just checking what it is this time around, it stays at 2 and a bit, maybe a 1/10 of a second loss. There's the bright yellow Ferrari, yellowy green Ferrari, playing catch up. 8 3/4 minutes remain in this race. Will it be a class win in the AM class for Ben Porter and Andrew McPherson? Certainly McPherson, the pit lane will be hoping so. But Takeshi Kimura going for it. There they are, that's the gap. Oh, it's going to be very tense down in the garage at AMAC Motorsport. And also for Car Guy Racing. And they've got a lot of support, they've got a lot of mechanics here because their base is just outside the circuit fence. But for Ben Porter, who had such a good run in one of the 2 races in Suzuka, he's going to be crossing everything. But look, I mean, you don't have to use a stopwatch. That Ferrari is a-coming.
Look at all of that rubber debris on the track. Off the driver's line there, although as you can see, 13 and 1 or 2 others will just drift onto it if needs must.
Well, needs must if you have a GT4 car that's running on the cleanish part. But I tell you what, that looks like the level of rubber you get after, you know, late into a 6-hour race in the World Endurance Championship. No one, though, is on the tail of the 97 Solite Indigo Racing Mercedes. Yes, Martin Rump is in attendance, but not close enough. Will it be win number 2 for the 2019 campaign? The driver who will be celebrating the most in the pit lane is Roloff Bruins, if it can be pulled off. It's up to his teammate, Manuel Metzger, back for a second crack this year in the 97 Mercedes. He's got to complete the task. He's right on the tail of some back runners. In fact, he didn't quite read the GT4 class leader, went out on the grass on the exit of turn 14, now back on terra firma, back on the black stuff, accelerating over the start finish line. But let's have a look. Check the flag. Is it going to be waved for him or one more lap? One suggests the flag is out. He should have that waved in his face. Checkered flag. Oh, he tied that very, very well indeed. Just past an hour, he takes victory. Manuel Metzger wins in conjunction with Roelof Bruins. This margin was small, half a second, as 97, the race winner, enters the pit lane and progresses towards Parc Fermé with Manuel Metzger very much savouring the atmosphere. He's enjoyed his visit to Thailand for round number 2. He's now very much enjoying his visit here for round number 4 to the Fuji Speedway. Very happy indeed, and that is very, very useful indeed for the points situation at the top of the table, because Roelof Bruins came here on 71 points, fully 17 points down on Tanat Sathi and Thirikul.
Gentlemen, congratulations. First of all, tell me how that last session went. You must be delighted.
Yeah, but it was tough, man. Martin was pushing like hell. I could see him behind. And yeah, I just did the same. I tried to stay in front. The Audi's very good on the straight line and in braking. There he closed in, but in the corners I could pull a gap again, and luckily he didn't come too close for some slipstreaming. So yeah, it was tough.
I'm speechless. I mean, he did a fantastic job keeping that car in first position and bringing it back. I mean, the championship I can't even think about, because we're taking it round by round. So this is one. Up to the next one.
2 on the top step as the champagne comes out. Manuel Metzger and Roelof Bruins on the second step in the red and white overalls. Martin Rump and Ware on tan. And on the right-hand side, really great result there for Hub Auto Corsa. Yuya Sakamoto and his new teammate this weekend, Marco Seefried. On pole position, Alessio Picariello, the Craft Bamboo Racing number 88 Mercedes. Alongside, it's 3 8s rather than 2. It's the 888 Racing Mercedes with Yaziman Jafar, who was set yesterday's fastest lap. This is the chance for the Malaysian to see if he can be quicker than Picariello, the Belgian, in the red, white and blue Mercedes. A very long hold. It's confusing them. Of course, the starter can choose when he flicks the lights from red to green. Power down. Martin Rump pulls out in the Audi, trying to see if he can gain a position from row number 3. It looks as though Picariello's done just enough. The long way round the outside is a dangerous place to go for Jafar. He's got to consider it. Given a tap up the back by the car that hit pretty much everything yesterday, the Anstone Racing Mercedes. Yokomizo on board there, flipped him sideways. Very good news from Picariello. Bad news because Jafar has been knocked from second back to third behind. Very, very tidy indeed. But first 3, 4 places filled by Mercedes. Picariello will come and rejoin the circuit, and the rest behind. Little bits of bodywork damage. Couldn't see what that was, but I think it was something integral. We'll find out later. So for Picariello, it all looked good. He had that little advantage, but then he ran very deep, Steve, there into turn 3. Just see how desperate they all are to be at the front.
Must have been 50 to 60% of the runners going off track there at that corner. Chaos for a while, but no serious damage done, I think, apart from the odd little bit of carbon fibre that found its way to the track.
Yeah, well, in time we'll get to look at all the cars. Now Jafar will be really, really furious, because that was an assault down at turn 1. Yokomitsu had his intent, giving almost one-word answers. He was focused when he spoke to him on the grid. He's put the Anstone Racing Mercedes into second place. This is very good news from Picariello, because I think if anybody could challenge him in the battle for supremacy, it would be Yaziman Jafar. We saw him down on the grid. We saw him with the Sultana of Johor. Great to have Her Royal Highness here, but Jafar is so focused, and this isn't part of his plan.
Yeah, I was hoping to get a word with Jasman. I think starting on the front row is a great opportunity for him to show what he's worth in this competition, because he's a super driver. But yeah, he's lost that early advantage, hasn't he?
Yeah, and in fact, coming out of the final corner, he hasn't managed to get into the toe of Yokomitsu's Mercedes. Now he's just starting to pick it up. But all along, Picariello, he'll be about a second clear. He is eking his way clear at the front of the field. The gap almost precisely 1 second at the end of the opening lap. Melvin Moe driving well, another Malaysian driver, good day for them, stays in 4th place. Martin Rump in 5th, best of the rest. And the ARN Racing Porsche, the red one, is having a really fierce little ding-dong down there, fighting with Alexander Imperatori. Imperatori, the Swiss racer in the grey, white and red Porsche. He's on the outside. In fact, he's almost on the track. That's quite a good thing, isn't it?
Good for Mercedes, isn't it? Top 4 places all locked off for now. They're going well.
Yeah, car I haven't really mentioned, just ahead of this little Porsche battle is the car in 6th, making 5th and 6th for Audi. It's Frankie Chen Kong Fu. So the 2 absolute racing Audis. The blue one is in 6th and the grey one is in 5th.
No time penalties, no success penalties for Picariello to worry about as they change over. So as big a lead as he can manage for that changeover, it'll seed them very well for the second half of this race.
No, absolutely so. You're spot on there, Steve. But 1.3 seconds last time around, I think he's able to gain those valuable tenths of a second. At certain points, it might be out to 1.5 seconds. But right now, another thing he's not doing is pushing his tyres too hard. He can put his car where he wants it on the circuit and work his way forward from there, and that is a really, really nice position for a racing driver. We've seen Picariello pick his way up through the fields through the course this season, but when he's the starting driver, almost invariably he's starting from pole position. He made that run down to the first corner. The battle is really for second behind him at the moment.
Yeah, we can't write off Yokomitsu for first, however. He's almost 1 3/10 behind the leader, but he's rattling off good sector times. He's gone fastest in the first sector, and he had a very good second sector a couple of laps ago, so we should certainly keep an eye on him as this race develops. He could certainly mount a threat.
Well, looking the long shot down the start-finish straight, Frederick Schandorf is the meat, the Lamborghini between the Porsche and the Ferrari. So Imperatore is suddenly having to fight, being attacked from behind. And Chris van der Drift in that mix as well. The Hub Auto Corsa Ferrari, Yuya Sakamoto, has been gobbled up. He was ninth, and the the Porsche with the black wings is van der Drift on the way forward. And really, this is where the racing is super tight. You can see 4 cars come about a second as they sweep round into the fabulous 100R turn, and managing to hold on. So the order is chopping and changing down there, but the top 6 positions, Picariello, Yokomitsu, Yafar, Mo, Rump and Cheng, not changing. Indeed, David Pun making his debut, driver from Hong Kong in the Craft Bamboo Racing Mercedes, is being caught, and I suggest here comes the passing manoeuvre as Sunako Jukucho, veteran winner in this championship, not because he's old, but simply because he's had so many wins for BMW Team Studi. Well, I thought that was a passing manoeuvre, not on the way in, perhaps on the way out, but this is absolutely cracking. 7 cars in the GT4 class, brilliant battle for first place in class, and I must say David Pun has settled into this championship as though he's been doing it for years. And so, where'd you go? You've got a tough rival, a nut to crack. And around the halfway point in the lap, it looks though, well, that's sorted in the favour of the Mercedes for now, but far to go. So my little train of thought about the cars that started with time penalties, obviously, and now I'm delighted it was interrupted by the racing action, but for Manuel Metzger, it's been a dreadful start to the race. Jeffrey Ibrahim just keeping those
hand-eye coordination, I suppose,
under control. But car 17, there was the incident down at turn 1 where Yokomitsu came up and tapped the back of, just at the turning point pretty much, of the corner, the critical point when the car's unbalanced. It was the 888 Racing Mercedes that got put sideways and got put out of second place down into third, has yet to manage to reverse that position, and all along the gap is stretching away for the race leader, Alessio Picariello. He'll hand over to Jeffrey Lee. But that Craft Bamboo Racing example, number 88, the Mercedes, looks fantastic at the front of the field. Looks good standing still, but it's not standing still. It's best part of 5 seconds clear in the lead of the race. Here's the ARN Racing Porsche going past the class leader in GT4. But Yuta Kamimura is some distance now behind Alex Imperatore. Imperatore in 6th as the lead Porsche. The second Porsche, Yuta Kamimura, going through, well, 4.7 seconds further down, so the Swiss driver has become predominant. Good to see the Lamborghini going well again in the hands of Frederick Schandorf. We saw it in the race. Manufacturers were 2x2. The last couple of laps have been 2 places gained by the Dane. 1 because Frankie Chen Kong Fu came in to serve the drive-through penalty for contact. Second warning to 2 drivers for exceeding track limits. They're not right at the sharp end of the field. It's car number 12 that's being pinged. Well, it is at the sharp end of the field. What am I talking about? We saw an early warning for Martin Rump. He's running in 5th position. The other car is car 11. Sorry, I was thinking they were both in GT4. And that's Tony Fong, the GTO race. Oh dear, 9-10. This is a car that just Chris van der Drift did the support race this morning, Lamborghini Super Trofeo Asia, and he wasn't his dream result. The first time he hasn't won in the championship this year. Hasn't been first to finish, and now a spin. But in from the lead, he waited as late as he dared with 45 seconds on the clock when he dived off the circuit. Comes our race leader, Alessio Picariello. Jeffrey Lee did such a brilliant job last time out. Oh dear, someone who hasn't done a brilliant job. The number 19 Birth Racing Project Mercedes making its debut in the championship. That has clattered into something or someone. He's only got 2 more corners to go before he can come into the pits. But going back to the thought about Jeffrey Lee, is the fact he was under huge pressure to bring this car home. There was a safety car period towards the end of the race. The field got right onto his tail, but he brought it home. Top 6 cars covered by 2 seconds, but it was the 88 car that prevailed in the second race at Suzuka. Can it do so again today? Certainly Picariello has done the job required of him, and there it is sitting on the stands, but no success penalty because yesterday it finished not in the top handful of positions. In fact, with problems in the race, it was down in 16th position. Talk about problems. The Birth Racing Project Mercedes did well in a car that doesn't want to turn. Now, can he get enough turning to get it into pit lane? And will he get? Yes, he's managed just to get in it. He got it around those final 2 corners, but whether that is, I don't think it's. I think it's steering well as well as a punctured tyre. Well done, got it in. Now move it out of the way, please. And there, in fact, in the background of the shot, we've got the GT4 class leader, now Takayuki Kinoshita. The 88 Mercedes, there's another GT4 Mercedes, and the silver Mercedes with Jeffrey Ibrahim, Prince of Johor. He finished 4th on his championship debut in his home race at Sepang at the start of the season. And the 82 car, we saw it have a spin and clearly picked up some damage as well, perhaps as a result of the spin or maybe from a further incident for Shinsuke Umeda. But it's almost like the opening lap of the race around the tail of the top 10. Look at them, 2 abreast. They go at the midpoint of the circuit. The Hub Auto Corsa Ferrari going past Alex Au in the white Lamborghini from Vincenzo Sospiri Racing. He's tucked in behind the number 912 there. Yes, oh dear, oh no, we've just had Daniel Au going for a spin. He just gained a position over Hiroaki Nagai, moved into 5th, and now he's shuffled right down in the 999. Audi is going to be right onto his tail and going around the outside. Oh dear, it really seemed it was going to be a fabulous result for Craft Bamboo Racing, but one of their cars having a little bit of a setback. We've had further problems for the 55 Craft Bamboo car. Daniel Au has spin, and it's a straight line, and the car is sitting dead ahead down at the lower part of the circuit. So, safety car, what does that mean? 11.75 seconds advantage for Jeffrey Lee will come down to next to nothing. This is a real chance for Jeffrey Ibrahim in his first season of racing to see if he can get a restart correctly. Their bodywork damage has been a clunk up the back of the McLaren. That is unfortunate, so that'll go dropping down the order. That's PT Biram Bagdi. Someone has gone into the tail end of that, or maybe a spin in his own right, but anyhow, with bodywork rubbing on a deflating tyre there. But what I was going to talk about, this would be the first chance for Jeffrey Ibrahim in what should have been second place to see if he could understand and guess when Jeffrey Lee was going to floor the throttle when the safety car released the field. But he's not getting that opportunity. Just as it came his way, Vuitton Intra Fudasak moved the number 918 Panther AAS Porsche up into second place. He's got more experience, so he's got more of a chance of trying to topple Jeffrey Lee. Quick change. Doesn't look as though the bodywork was on that tyre. I think it was punctured elsewhere. This is the reason the safety car is out there, still trying to rescue the T2 Motorsport Ferrari. There is damage off the side of the circuit. It ain't going anywhere. And the car that may well have clipped it, Daniel Au in the 55 Craft Bamboo car, has, well, it's out of the scene. It hasn't got back to the pit lane by the looks of things, but it's out of camera shot and moved away. Here comes the restart. And he's, well, the first 3 have done very, very well indeed. It's easiest for the leader, Jeffrey Lee. He's got it right. We're now green flag racing. Vuitton in through Fufasak, stay close behind, but a few car lengths lost by Jeffrey Ibrahim. It's all about gaining experience. He's now got to be concerned. Another Mercedes coming into the mix. Juvai, number 17. He makes a bit of a mess of the opening corner, and Wear on Tan, the top pro driver up there, says thank you. 5th becomes 4th, and likewise nearly second place has become 1st, but still Jeffrey Lee at the front of the field. Vuitton in through Fufasak in the Porsche, going one way, going the other, running a little bit wide. Now they're into 100R, but a far better entry from Jeffrey Lee. That should buy him a little bit of more time in the lead of the race. In behind, in 3rd place, Jeffrey Ibrahim, not quite staying with them, but for now staying ahead of the 4th place runner. But that is now Wear on Tan in the grey number 12 Audi, entered by Absolute Racing. He should be able, he may yet get into the lead of this race, and certainly the number 12 Audi has had all sorts of bad luck this season. He served a 10-second penalty for finishing second yesterday. This could be the first win for number 12. I'm not getting ahead of myself, not yet, but the first 5 all clear. They're bunching right up. They're as close as they were behind the safety car, if not more so. So let's just go down the order. It's Lee, it's Fufasak.
912, drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits. Car 912, drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits.
That is the car in 6th place overall, fallen off the tail of this group. It's Wanbo, so he was running 2nd in the Silver Cup class. Drive-through penalty, throw that result in the bin. So step up everyone behind. Marco Seefried, still my favourite to get onto the podium. But where is the Silver Ferrari? Some distance back, just coming into shot at the top of the screen. But look, just under 8 minutes on the clock. Can he get onto the tail of this group? Jeffrey Lee, he's resisted the pressure before in Suzuka. Now he's got a lot more pressure. 3 manufacturers, Mercedes, 2nd place Porsche, 3rd place Audi. That is why balanced performance works. And right now, what works best of all is a slipstream. Cover the inside, you should be okay. But unfortunately for Jeffrey Lee, he guessed wrong, went to the outside. Can in through Fufasak get the braking done? He's got into the lead of the race. He stayed on the grey stuff. Really well done, wasn't it?
Beautifully done.
And in all of that, we had Wear on Tan moving up into 3rd place. Jeffrey Ibrahim is now at the back of that pack in 5th, but just had Juvai go past him as well. So it's all changing. And unfortunately for Jeffrey Lee, wants the leader now in second place. In through Fufasak in terms of natural pace ought to pull through, but look, already third place isn't good enough for Wear on Tan, going around the outside of Jeffrey Lee. The Audi into second place, so it's now Porsche leading from Audi from Mercedes, all changing. The second of the Mercedes in that group is Jouvai, and the third of the Mercedes in the group sticking to the tail. He's been passed, but he's not dropping off. He could yet get a podium. Jeffrey Ibrahim, the Prince of Johor, learning all the time. So I thought the battle of second was sorted. Wear and Tan had got through, but Jeffrey Lee fancied to go very, very late braking just before the chicane. This is a chance for Jouvai to get under his tail, and all this is fantastic news for Vutagon through Fufasak. As they fight, he pulls clear. Ibrahim around the outside, and I think ducking down the inside. There he goes of the two of them, but given a tap by Jouvai, damaged the Ferrari. Oh, puts Christina Nielsen on the grass. She puts her foot down, keeps it down. I think we're going to have a puncture already for the Ferrari. So I'm sorry, Marco Seefried, for suggesting the podium was on. It was, trust me.
Nielsen did very well there to gain places. Actually went all four wheels off the track twice, but I wonder if she'll be penalised.
Drive-through penalty. Car 8-8 drive-through penalty for exceeding track limits.
Car 8-8, that's Jeffrey Lee. He's third. He won't be third. Drive-through penalty. Jeffrey Ibrahim in fourth. Could be heading for an absolutely epic podium. The dust being kicked up in his face. Malaysian does not worry at all. He's having a fabulous race. So drive-through penalty, exceeding track limits. We might actually list the two drivers who haven't been pinged for track limits at the end of the race. It could be a shorter list. I joke, but Christina Nielsen, she hasn't really troubled to score us thus far in her career with Craft Bamboo Racing, learning all the Asian circuits, but she went really well yesterday and having a fabulous run today. She is going to be the fly in the ointment for the Prince of Johor, right onto his tail. The 88 car has got to make a pit visit, so Alessio Picariello, well, he'll be sanguine. He did all he could, but Jeffrey Lee in the heat of the battle as Christina Nielsen tries the inside line. Would be like 3 Mercedes abreast. We very nearly got that, but the Dane has moved past the Prince of Johor, so she has got her dander up. And I think with a puncture as well from that collision with the Ferrari, limping in the Antstone Racing car, number 17, Jouvai. Right, draw breath. Final 4 and a bit minutes. We know Futagon through Fufasak is leading the race, but the gap's come down to 1.2 seconds. Wear on Tan could have an Audi winner in third place, but he's got to serve a penalty, is the 88 Mercedes. So Christina Nielsen effectively in third place. The Ferrari still limping in. That was my favourite, and seeing how things have sorted out, that could have been a third place.
I still think there's a chance, Bruce, that Christina Nielsen will be penalised for exceeding track limits. We'll see. We probably will realise that in the next few moments or so, but she banged off twice onto the grass.
In fairness, though, one of them coming out of turn 2 was just simply to avoid the limping Ferrari. That one is absolutely fine. She wasn't. You don't tend to come out of a corner like that and opt to put your car on the grass for the sheer heck of it. So car 88, car 912, both cars that were in the mix have drive-through penalties for exceeding track limits. Well, rules are rules, and the car starting to make moves is the 999 Audi. Out of the picture completely, but others pick up penalties and stops. Now in the hands of Wei-An Chan. Rahul Ray, Swiss racer, she did the first part of the race, and Wei-An Chan is coming forward at a rate of knots in the multicoloured Audi. But this is our lead battle. Vutagon through Fufasak, 1 win to the good this year. And the number 12 Absolute Racing Audi tucked in behind. Wear on Tan, desperate to pick up a top result. They got second place yesterday, but the Absolute Audi crew really deserve a win this year. He and Martin Rupp have been fantastic together. Well, he's a bronze-ranked driver, and you feel that ranking will be changed very soon indeed. He's driving like a silver, but it's all done on race experience and race results. Wear on Tan is going to have to just think about where to go, but everywhere he's looked, it's been covered off by the Audi in front. Let's just run down the order. The 2 cars we have on screen, in through Fufasak and then Tan. Christina Nielsen we saw move up into third place. Wei-An Chen in the 999 car is now up into fourth, moving ahead of the 888 car, Jeffrey Ibrahim. Fourth place is his best finish in the season. Fifth place is going to be today. So as these cars cross the start-finish line, they're starting their final lap. It was under half a second last time around. Looks though it's almost precisely the same gap. Turn one of the critical corners for them, Steve.
Final lap.
0.281 of a second. Christina Nielsen in the background of the shot. But let's look. Got to go up the inside. You've got to grab your opportunity. So the pro driver, does he do enough braking? He's run wide. It's through Fufasak. It's a classic case, deep in, slow out, side by side, but the Audi's going to be in the correct position for the next corner because the track bends to the left, but taking the wide sweeping line in through Fufasak couldn't do the job. Great racing. It's like the first lap of a race, even better when it's on the final lap.
And it's not over yet. We've still got time. for this lead to change once more, but it looks now, doesn't it, as if that gap might be just opened up, where class will tell we're on time in front. Oh, but here we go again.
Tidy driving, just left it out, but Intra Fuvasak, he's been fantastic this year. You see them cutting the corners, but really starting to run out of bends. The chicane, well, flashing lights is one thing, but you can see the change of position from wear and tan. You're not coming up the inside, I'm going to the outside. Now I'm going to stay in the middle of the track, you're fine. I'm not leaving the door open, but wonderful racing at the head of the field. Almost daren't look to see who's further behind, but Christina Nielsen now safe in third place. So the number 88 Craft Bamboo Racing Mercedes could have won, but at least the sister car 99 is up into third place, and a really good run for the 999 Audi now in fourth place. Jeffrey Ibrahim, Prince of Johor, still holding on. Looks like he should make it to the finish in what will be a very fine fifth place, but now coming through for the final time with an advantage, well, huge, almost a second through to win the race. The Absolute Racing Audi, number 12, first to finish, the pass on the final lap, just worth reiterating. It was tight right the way to the end. AS Motorsport Porsche in second place, but here comes the winning car into pit lane. All celebration for the Absolute Racing crew. And just to reiterate the winners of the classes, second place overall, the 918 Porsche, parking on the right hand side of the screen, alongside the overall winner. So the second place and victory in the Pro-Am class for the 918 Porsche.
Great celebrations here. I got Wiron and Martin. Martin, just face this way for us. Wiron, first of all, beautifully timed at the end there. You must be delighted.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank the team. The team did an amazing job all weekend. We had an excellent pace. Qualifying, thought could have been a little bit better, but everything just strung up in this race, and the safety car helped us as well. Good drives by the other guys, and Martin did an amazing first stint, and the last couple of laps was quite interesting. Trying to get past the guys. Vuti defended very well, and yeah, first win for Audi, so very proud of that moment.
This weekend has been one for the team, certainly. It's been a long and hard season so far, and this is a good reward for all the hard work that we've been doing, and hats off for Wiron. I mean, he did a brilliant final stint, and the crowd was absolutely going nuts in the pits and on the pit wall. Mate, all the moves were brilliant.
Well, you've heard the cheers as they've been called out onto the podium, and look at the happiness. A lot of content drivers up there, a lot of drivers who've had good form and bad luck through the course of the season, but today you have to line up all your ducks, and it's worked very well indeed. And the Audi pair on the top step, as they point out, first Audi win this year. Patrick Pan of Pirelli out to present the trophies. And you heard certainly from Martin Rump there how much they are applauding Absolute Racing for helping them, give them the car that has had them on the podium before, but now a second place and a first this weekend. This has really put them back into the championship hunt. Second place, Vutigorn Fuvasak and Alex Imperatori. In third place, Christina Nielsen and Daryl O'Young for Craft Bamboo Racing. Vutigorn Fuvasak and Alex Imperatori back up again because they are the winners in the Pro-Am class in second place overall. But right now, delight for all of these crews because points are hard to come by in this championship. It's so competitive, and anyone on the podium, yes, they'll have the success penalty, have to serve longer pit stops, but it's about getting the points in the bag. But it was Wiron Tan and Martin Rump winning, as you can see, just over a second clear, overtaking on the final lap. Vutigorn Fuvasak couldn't hold them off, but he and Imperatori won the Pro-Am class in second place overall. Daryl O'Young and Christina Nielsen, their second podium of the year, but a real upswing in form. They started well, had a dip in form, and now they're right back. And Weian Chan and Rahel Frey, good run into fourth place. This is a debut for Rahel Frey, really good Swiss racer, making quite a splash. Great run from Jeffrey Ibrahim, His Royal Highness Prince of Johor, and Jasmine Jafar. And Vincenzo Sospiri Racing, always there or thereabouts. Sixth place for Alex Au and Frederick Schandorf. AM-class winner Vitana Motorsport in 11th place overall, just a few seconds clear of the LM Corsa Porsche crew. So enjoying very good form here at Suzuka, here at the Fuji Speedway. Quite a lot of drivers picked up penalties, some picked up bodywork damage, including the number 27 Ferrari. Marco Seefried could have been on the podium. He was given a bit of a bash and he ended up out of the race. So what's ifs and buts? But right now, those championship results have changed the race order, have changed the championship points table fairly enormously. But that's it from us at Fuji Speedway. It's been fantastic fun. Cannot wait to do it all over again. That's it from me, Bruce Jones. Join us next time.